Welcome back to Mountain News First at 4. It could be a stormy evening across the region. We've declared a severe weather alert day to help keep you safe. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Paige Noel, who is in the studio with us today for the latest. Paige?
Well, Steve, we are starting to see a few storms fire up just a little bit west of us. None have been on the severe side yet, but of course watching it closely as we head into the rest of the afternoon and evening hours. We'll go ahead and take you up to satellite and radar, really just radar, pinpoint Doppler right now. You're starting to see some heavier downpours up towards Lexington, a few stronger storms down into Danville. Starting to see a little bit of a strong storm now moving to parts of Harlan, and this one that we are watching down into parts of McCreary County has now moved into Whitley, has definitely died down a little bit. Starting to see a few stronger storms though just on that line right there from Bell County a little bit over into Harlan, but like I said, none severe right now, a little bit on the stronger side. So of course stay weather aware. There is a severe thunderstorm watch just to the west of us. None of our counties are in it yet. This goes until 6 o'clock, and this does include Lexington. Louisville was in a warning, or in a watch, but that has expired now. So we'll watch this. We could possibly see a watch get moved into our area over the next couple of hours. We are still in this slight risk. This is the updated version at 4 o'clock. We have not seen it change really at all. We've seen it kind of pull back a little bit back towards western Kentucky, but for us in eastern Kentucky, still on that slight risk, 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. We'll talk a little bit more about the timing of these storms coming up in a little bit, and then we'll even talk about the very nice weather on the way heading into tomorrow. Steve.
All right, Paige, thank you very much. Now to a terrible story we've been following today. 2 young people are dead and another is in the hospital following a crash on Highway 15 in Hazard this morning. WYMT's Madison Pergram has more on what we know so far.
I'm here on Highway 15 in Hazard, right below the Applebee's, and this is where the crash happened early this morning. The crash involving a single vehicle was called in around 5:01 a.m. The car was traveling in the southbound lane. 3 people were ejected from the car. 2, including Gavin Fields and Hunter Gross, were pronounced dead at the scene. The 3rd person is receiving medical treatment. His condition is unknown. Now the Hazard Police Department is conducting a reconstruction of the crash, and the crash is still under investigation. For now in Hazard, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
Both bodies were sent to Frankfort for an autopsy. We will have more on the crash later tonight. Meanwhile, officials with the Wolfe County Search and Rescue Squad are leading a multiple agency search in Campton today. WYMT's Will Puckett has more from Wolfe County, where officials are looking at every possibility trying to find a missing swimmer.
Crews are on their 3rd day of searching for a Breathitt County man who went missing while swimming with friends. Midday Monday, 3 young men were swimming at Wolf Lake outside of Campton. They attempted to swim from one side of the lake to the other. When 2 reached the other side, they recognized 20-year-old James Lovelace wasn't with them. Crews from across the state have come in to help, and as the search stretches into its 3rd day, rescue crews aren't ruling any possibilities out.
We will also treat this as a search. We will have teams in the woods today, and we'll be searching the shoreline on both sides of the lake in the general area, looking for any clues that would support a drowning case or any sign that the young man may have exited the lake.
Officials say Lovelace has no health conditions and is not considered a weak swimmer. I talked to his father, stepmother, and grandmother, who all say they just want their boy back. In Wolfe County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials say they have ruled out the possibility that Lovelace just ran off. Georgia is facing harsh criticism after voters encountered major issues casting ballots in yesterday's primary. The state reported problems with new voting machines and a shortage of experienced poll workers due to the coronavirus. There were also issues with absentee ballots in certain counties.
The majority of folks I heard had applied for an absentee ballot and it was never processed. And I don't really have an answer for why that happened. It's very disappointing.
Georgia Secretary of State blames the delays on county election officials and said his office is launching an investigation. The state is expected to be a battleground in November. There is concern about whether the problems will be fixed by then. Just one day after George Floyd was buried, his brother testified before Congress about police brutality. He told lawmakers on Capitol Hill that police officers need to learn necessary force. He said his brother George was suffocated for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, but he still called the police officer sir as he begged for his life.
I'm here to ask you to make it stop. Stop the pain. stop us from being tired. George called for help and he was ignored. Please listen to the call I'm making to you now.
House Democrats unveiled a bill on police reform Monday. Senate Republicans are still in the process of working on their plan. A statue of Christopher Columbus was torn down and thrown into a lake last night in Richmond, Virginia. It happened in Byrd Park after a peaceful protest involving around 1,000 people. Protesters say the intent was to express solidarity with indigenous people. After the peaceful protesters left, a group of rioters returned to the park. The rioters defaced the statue, used rope to pull it down, and then pushed it into the park's lake. Police in Idaho arrested a man who has long been under suspicion in a missing kids case. Chad Daybell married Lori Vallow after the death of his wife and her husband. Daybell and Vallow are accused in the disappearance of her children, J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. Yesterday morning, 20 officers with the FBI arrived at Daybell's house with shovels. Private investigator Rich Robertson says all the digging appeared to be in one location,
which suggests that they had some information that led them to a specific part of the property.
The development comes more than 3 months after the children's mother and Daybell's new wife, Lori Vallow Daybell, were arrested for defying a court order to prove her children were alive. The couple refuses to tell police where they are. The last known image of JJ was taken last September. Tylee was last seen earlier that month in Yellowstone National Park. Straight ahead on Mountain News at 4:30, scammers are using the coronavirus to capitalize on people's fears to con them out of money.
And after the cold front moves through tonight, drier and cooler air returns to the mountains. I'll have more on that coming up.